So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. 2018 iPad with Apple Pencil support. What are my honest feelings? What is my first take on this iPad? I decided to go ahead and just skip the unboxing because, you know what, these boxes are pretty much the same every year and it's just getting a little bit boring with the box. I mean, there's nothing changed in here. You just get your cord, you get a pamphlet and a charger, and it says 6th generation on the rear. So that's enough with the box. The only thing that changed in the box was they have this little pencil thing on the welcoming, pamphlet that we'll never read more than one time, which signifies that this does support Apple Pencil here. Now, I just want to talk about a few of the changes. Number one, this does support the Apple Pencil, as we said like 3 times already. You go from a Apple A9 CPU to an Apple A10 Fusion, which is a dual core CPU bumped up to a quad core. So power is, I wouldn't say significantly drastically going to be improved, because the A10 and the A9 on an iOS device is not felt too much. It's only, felt if you're doing like video editing and stuff like that. So if you are going to be ripping through some rendering and you're going to be doing some heavy based things, which I don't know if a lot of people are going to do on a cheaper iPad, then this could be a good option for you. You also get a slight bump in graphics. So if you're getting this for a kid or someone who plays a lot of video games or games on the iPad specifically, it should be a little bit better performer and a little bit better on battery life when it comes to the gaming round. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the changes. There's not a lot of changes to this iPad. Here's what doesn't change with this iPad. Number one is design. So I actually have the 2017 model, which was updated from this one, and it literally looks identical to the 2017 model. There is literally no different except for this new color. So this color is kind of like a copper color, but you can see dimensions and everything identical. Same weight, same everything. So if you're going from a 2017 to this one, you're literally only going for that Apple Pencil. Like literally, that's the only thing you're going for. So 2017 and 2018 about identical. If you guys want to see a full comparison between these two, go ahead and drop that down below in the comment section of this video. The display doesn't change either. So you still have this display with a slight gap on the screen that doesn't have lamination like the Pro series does. Wi-Fi does not change. The Bluetooth is still 4.2. It's not the upgraded standard to 5.0 like seen in most of your newer smartphones, iPhone 8, iPhone 10, for example. And all that means is that Bluetooth, when you are connecting to Bluetooth, it's going to take slightly longer to connect to your devices than 5.0 would. And that's actually felt in the day-to-day. Cameras don't change. You still have that iPhone 6 status camera on the rear, 8 megapixel, which is not a big deal because, I never really take a lot of pictures on an iPad, and I'm sure you won't either. One thing I was surprised to see is that you don't get any new wallpapers. Usually Apple just kind of throws in a couple new wallpapers for, a new product, and they didn't do it here on this iPad. That's kind of disappointing because I like to see new wallpapers. I seen them on the new Pros. Every time I got a new Pro, there was new wallpapers. And funny enough, price doesn't change. If you're an average consumer, you're not going to get a discounted price on this one over last year's 2017 model. It's actually going to be a little bit more because it's the newer model, and last year's model got discounted. The only people who are going to get a discount is education, and you actually have to be in school. You can't just lie and just put your, just say you got a, you're out of school or whatever and get a discount. You have to actually be a student or a teacher to get that $30 discount. And even then, this tablet is still going to be more than your average Chromebook or your average Kindle tablet 10.5 inch, which is like $150. So that's basically what changes and what doesn't change. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about that gold. So this gold is actually different. I think it's signs of what's to come for the new updated gold iPhone 10 later this year. This is kind of like a blush gold or a copper color. Here's the old gold, like the traditional gold from the iPhone 6. Take a look at that. That is a huge difference. So definitely looks a little peachy to me, a little coppery. Yeah, it's not my favorite gold, but some people might dig it. So now I want to talk about my personal subjective take on this iPad, what I actually like about this iPad. So the first thing I like about it is that this iPad is cheaper than an iPad Pro. So here's an iPad Pro 10.5 inch, and you can see it's a little bit bigger. It does have a flash on the camera, and that's definitely a camera kind of like the one you get on the iPhone 7 Plus, not like the older iPhone 6 camera that you can find in this tablet. But when you do open this up, you can see you have a wider canvas for better drawing on the 10.5. You do have, thinner bezels on this device, and you have one of the biggest differences, the 120 hertz display, which is easily seen if you do scroll between both of these. Is that going to be a big deal for a lot of people? Probably not, but I personally dig the Pro much more than this iPad right here. Next thing I like is that this has the A10 Fusion. Now that Pro I just showed you has an A10X Fusion, so only a little bit faster than this one, which is a huge deal if you want a cheaper iPad with good performance. So that A10 Fusion should be faster than most Chromebooks. Next thing I like is Retina Display. The Retina Display is one of the best displays you can get, although it's LCD. Some Samsung tablets do have OLED displays around the same price as this tablet. You know, the App Store and iPad is kind of just running the show when it comes to tablet sales. So the iPad, what you get is these LCD, and it's Retina, it's sharp, it looks good, it's well calibrated, it's very accurate. So this is a really good display for the price. Another thing I like is the battery life is strong on this iPad. It's like really strong, like 10 hours or so. So that's a good thing about iPad, but that's pretty much been the case with all iPads. Next thing I like is that I found that the latency is pretty good on this new iPad. It actually feels a little bit better than the Pro 9.7 of 2016, but it still kind of feels kind of similar to the Pros of this year. So latency is good with the Apple Pencil. I haven't tried the Logitech Crayon, but latency is very strong here for the Apple Pencil if you do pick that up. Next thing I like is that you do get a deal for education buyers, so you can get $30 off. That's a nice touch. Still, you know, $299, it's still a little high considering that you can get, you know, the older iPad now for about $250, so you're still gonna pay $50 more even with the deal for an iPad that just offers a pencil. So if you don't need the pencil, you might want to take a look at 2017's model. Next thing I like is the headphone jack. You know, a lot of people thought Apple might ditch the headphone jack on this tablet. Nope, it's right there up at the top left corner. And lastly, I think this makes a great family tablet. Like if you guys just want to get a tablet to, you know, pass around the household or whatever, this could be a great deal for everyone to share. Okay, so I talked about what I like about this new iPad, but what don't I like about this iPad? Now, first of all, I don't like that the processor's 2 years old. So the A10 Fusion chip, while I did, you know, talk and be pretty braggadocious about the fact that it is fast, this thing is still a 2016 processor, and processor is not an area in the components that I feel like Apple had to skimp on. They could have just threw an A11 in here, but I can understand why they didn't do that. They didn't want you to think that, oh, this iPad, the cheaper one, is faster than a Pro. It makes sense, but at the same time, it's 2018 and you're putting a 2016 processor in a brand new product. You could argue though that, oh, well, the A10 CPU is already way ahead of even some of the newer Android products that are coming out, so it's not a big deal. Next up, some things I don't think many people are thinking about, but 32 gigs, like really for a $329 product? It is 2018. 32 gigs is just not cutting it, especially on an iPad. Now, think about it. The Pros got updated to 64 base. They could have put 64 gigs base on this iPad as well. That would have been really nice for students because students are going to load up a bunch of stuff. And I would almost argue that a lot of people aren't going to be paying attention to storage if they're just doing their classwork and stuff like that. They don't got time to be managing storage and stuff like that. They're going to be using their apps. So more storage would have been nice here for this iPad. And I know they have the 128 gigabyte model, but you got to go up $100 to get that. They could have started this thing at 64. And something I know a lot of people aren't even going to think about or even consider doing, but I think that the 2016 iPad Pro offers more than this iPad besides one thing, and that's the processor. Think about it. The 2016 Pro will give you 4 speakers, so they'll give you 2 up here and 2 at the bottom. It gives you pencil support just like this iPad. It does give you a flash on the rear camera and a better camera on the rear than this iPad. It does give you the same fingerprint sensor, and it gives you a laminated display. And it's about the same price if you look for it online. So if you really want some more Pro features, you should still consider looking at the 2016 iPad Pro 9.7. But at the end of the day, more people are going to buy this because this is what's in stores now. This tool should be, you know, around $75, I think. But if you do go ahead and announce a new iPad that's trying to be cheaper, why not throw an education discount in for this? Make this $50 so it makes it easier to get a hold of this Apple Pencil. Now I know they came out with the Logitech Crayon, but you already know that it's not going to be better than the Apple Pencil. The Apple Pencil is designed by Apple. What's my overall take on it so far though? I mean, I don't even have to review this product. I already know what it is. It's exactly like the 2017 model. We don't have to go too much in depth. If you guys want to see a review, I will consider making it. But I'm going to compare this to a couple other iPads. At the end of the day, I think it's a fantastic tablet if you didn't buy 2017's model. Having Apple Pencil support can actually really make it the choice over the Pro model. But Apple was smart enough not to cannibalize the Pro series because the Pro series gives you a much better display. It's way smoother than this display. It has way louder speakers in this iPad, it has better cameras, and it comes in higher storage capacities. So for serious users, the iPad Pro is still the way to go. But for most everyday consumers, education users, this is definitely going to be a great iPad. But I do think that the 2017 model is a seriously good value now that it's going to have some discounts. This iPad offers everything this iPad offers except for pencil support, but you can get a third-party stylus that will work with last year's iPad as well. So if you're really trying to save money, take a look at last year's model. If you really want, pencil support, this is definitely a go right here. Apple did enough to make this a nice update, but still cannot touch the Pro series. Any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below in the comment section of this video. If you want to see some speed tests, some comparisons between other iPads, let me know. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.